Hello, everybody. Doug Rucker here with DougRuckerSchool.com and DougRuckerStore.com. Hey, one thing that every job has to have is some type of water source, whether it's on the property or whether you're hauling water. You've got to have a water source. Well, recently on a commercial pressure washing job, we had a couple of challenges on getting water. It wasn't right near the area that we were cleaning. So I'm going to go over that today with a couple of tips. So stay tuned for that next. So there's three very, very important things that you need to know before starting any type of big commercial job like this, residential as well. Just pretty much any pressure washing, exterior cleaning job. There's three things you need to know. Number one is you need to know the location of your water sources. Number two, you need to make sure that you check for the flow and the pressure. So, how much water volume are you getting? Is it slow? Is it weak? So, if you're feeding a buffer tank that feeds your machine, you need to know how long it's going to take to fill your machine. You need to know the gallon per minutes of your machine because how fast you're going to exhaust that water, and is the water source capable of replenishing it fast enough. So you need to check for the flow and the pressure and the leaks. You need to know the location. And then you also need to measure the distance from those water flow, water source locations to your cleaning areas where your machine's going to be set up, that type of thing. So this just kind of helps you set up and helps you, kind of determine how often, if needed, that you're going to have to move your machine or your truck or your trailer or whatever. So very important to know those three things. Know the location of the water sources, check for flow and pressure, and also look for any leaks that could be around the water source. Let the property owner or property manager know that. And then also make sure you know the distance between the water source to the areas that you're going to be cleaning. Now, a few weeks ago, I did another video on commercial pressure washing, and I'll put that in the card up that flashes up here in case you want to see that. But we talked about an option, or one of the options available on properties for a water source are these type that are in the wall. These are always generally just on commercial type properties. Has a little door to it with a little hex opener there. And so you need a specific type of tool, which is called a water key or a four-way Silcock key. And I've got links that you can get those down below through Amazon. But you can also get them at Lowe's or Home Depot if you just want to walk in and buy one. They're over in the plumbing aisle. That's what it looks like when you're opening the door to get to the actual water source. And the part on the left there, that's where you would insert the same tool, turn it, and you would get water coming out of the spigot there. And that little silver piece to the right where the water comes out of is actually a backflow preventer. And there's another tool like this, which is just a handle. This is my favorite. It'll fit a couple different sizes of these Allen hex inserts for turning the water on. So that's one way to get water source on commercial buildings. So you always want to look for those. And again, know the location where they're at, check for the flow and the pressure, and then make sure you know the distance between those and where you're going to be cleaning. And then the main purpose of this video I want to get into is showing you another option that can sometimes be available on commercial property. So here is an aerial view of a property we cleaned recently, some concrete. The concrete we cleaned is between the green arrows that you see at the bottom and the top. The only water source for this building that was connected on the building was all the way in the back, right behind where you see the words water source and that red arrow pointing to it. So as you can imagine, we would have had to run, a few hundred feet around the building, both directions, to clean the concrete on the front of the building. But what we were able to find was a irrigation valve that was located down behind a shrub line where that bottom arrow is pointing. And then where the top or the right hand side arrow is pointing, that's where the actual backflow preventer and the on off valve for supplying water to the irrigation was. And because it's winter, it was turned off. So that is where we were able to get our water source. And so you have to kind of look for these. I'm going to show you what they look like coming up. They're very hard sometimes to find. You have to check pretty much every box, but I'll show you what they look like here coming up. So this is the actual backflow preventer for the irrigation system that runs in the ground to feed the sprinklers for the grass, the shrubs, things of that nature. And so this just happens to be how this property does it. Sometimes that, there's can be different ways that the main water is turned on for the irrigation system. But this was the one that we found on the property. And over on the complete opposite side was the actual water key or water valve that we use for getting the water. And it looks like a sprinkler box or sprinkler cover or whatever, or valve cover, black plastic box with the green cover on it. So when you see these, you really have to open each one of them, because you could have an actual water valve that's hooked up to the electric system that turns the valves on and off to feed that sprinkler zone. Or it could have this, which will have this little yellow cap on it. And when you lift that up, you put this little brass piece. It's called a water key, irrigation water key. And when you put that in and twist it, it's going to supply water out of the little faucet end that kind of 90 degrees up at the top there. So we always put a little shutoff valve on that and turn it off so that when we twist it, water doesn't come spraying out at us. Trust me, that's happened to me before. And that's how I learned to either already have the hose hooked up to it or have a little shutoff device put on it so that you don't get soaking wet, because it usually is going to come out at some pretty good pressure. But that's what it looks like when it's in the ground. Again, you just have to go. Sometimes they're going to be round boxes, sometimes they're going to be square, but you just always look for those. Generally speaking, the green lids indicate that they're irrigation devices underneath that. So as long as the irrigation installer followed that protocol, then you're going to have some type of irrigation device down there. So it's just a matter of searching the property, checking each one, and finding it. So guys, not only will you find these on commercial properties like this one, but you'll also find them for HOAs, homeowner associations, when you're cleaning fences or lots of sidewalks, pool areas. Just throughout neighborhoods, you can find these. And again, you have to really search them. So commercial properties, HOAs, those are two. I've also found these on very large residential properties, mansion type properties that have a lot of sprinklers. You can find these on those as well, and sometimes use these, especially if the house is not delivering you good enough water. But usually on mansions, that's not the case, and we rarely have to ever use these unless we're just using like a portable machine and we're cleaning a dock that's 500-600 feet from the house, or just certain cases like that. But just make sure you look for these when you can't find a water source. We've also worked with commercial properties and HOAs where we could not find these, and explain to them, your price is going to go significantly up because we can't find a water source, and we'll recommend them to have the irrigation company go out and install these. And that's happened numerous times, because they see the value in having those installed for future cleanings as well. So again, HOAs, commercial properties, high-end residentials are areas that you can find these usually. Hey guys, okay, hang with me here. I got a couple more tips coming up, but hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so that you get notifications when I come out with educational videos like this. Also, leave me a like. Most importantly, just love your comments and love your questions. I really do appreciate everybody on our YouTube community just being so kind to one another and helping each other out. But that's the thing I really do enjoy is teaching you guys and helping you guys. So leave me a question, but make sure you hit that subscribe, give me a like, and hit that bell notification so you get notifications every time I come out with a video like this. Thanks, guys. So to wrap up on this job, we came out with this little splitter to feed two machines, the truck machine and then the trailer. And as you can see, we ran the hose to the truck, and then to get to the other side of the property, we ran the hose and we tucked it underneath the shrub line, so we didn't have it going across the parking lot, so we didn't have to fight that as we're surface cleaning. And so it just pretty much extended all the way down this shrub line, and we kept going and we kept going and going until it kind of went all the way over there to that trailer. And so that's pretty much how this job worked out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Again, subscribe, hit that bell, and leave me a question or comment. Thanks so much, guys. Hope it's been helpful. Y'all have an awesome day.